So today we're going deep on Willie Haggart.
Okay.
And this is the name that, like, echoes through Jamaica's dancehall scene.
Yeah,
It carries a certain weight, I'd say.
definitely. Yeah.
But what's so interesting about this is we're going to be building this picture, like, entirely from his Wikipedia page.
Oh, wow.
So it's all out there in the open.
Right.
But how much can we really learn about a man like this from, like, a readily available source?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like we're starting with this common thread,
Mm.
like a digital breadcrumb trail and seeing where it leads.
Okay.
And you would think like a Wikipedia article would be pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
but even the basics of Haggart's life offer some intrigue right from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, right off the bat, you see that his nickname, Willie Haggart, isn't even his real name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was born William Augustus Moore
Okay.
in Kingston, Jamaica in 1961.
Okay.
But that nickname, Willie Haggart,
Yeah.
it's a patois-like twist on hog heart. What do you make of that?
Well, I think you have to consider the cultural context, right? Patois is like, it's more than just slang.
Yeah,
It's infused with history resistance and a distinct Jamaican identity.
right.
So to have a nickname rooted in patois already suggests a certain like street credibility,
Okay.
a connection to the heart of Kingston, you know.
Right.
But hog heart,
Yeah.
that implies toughness, resilience,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
maybe even a hint of danger.
Yeah, it definitely sets the tone.
Right.
And the article mentions that he was running with a crew called the Wild Bunch, led by a guy they called General Starkey.
Oh, wow.
Now, that sounds like a story waiting to be told.
Right. There's a real sense of mystery surrounding this period of his life.
Yeah.
The article just like mentions that Haggart moved overseas sometime after Starkey was murdered in 81.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no details on like where he went,
Yeah,
what he did.
Yeah.
Just a blank space in the timeline.
the big question mark.
It just fuels your curiosity.
It really does. And it's even more intriguing when you consider his early run-ins with the law.
Oh, okay.
First, conviction for unlawful possession back in 1980.
Hmm.
Then a couple more marijuana possession charges in 93.
Okay.
You have to wonder, was he already deeply involved in the criminal underworld during those overseas years?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
And then there's this robbery with aggravation charge from 95.
Right.
It was dismissed.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah.
Was it a lack of evidence, influence, or something else entirely?
Right.
The Wikipedia entry leaves us with more questions than answers.
Which is kind of the point of a deep dive, right?
Exactly.
We're not just here to read off facts.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
looking for those gaps, those inconsistencies
Yeah.
that make you want to dig deeper.
For sure.
And then, boom, we hit the dancehall era.
Okay.
Willie Haggart becomes a major player in the scene,
Right.
especially through his connection with Bogle and the infamous Black Roses crew.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk about Willie Haggart without understanding the power and influence of dancehall in Jamaica. It's not just music.
Yeah.
It's a cultural phenomenon.
Right.
A way of life with global reach.
So for him to rise within that world,
Yeah.
it must have taken a certain charisma,
Right.
a presence that went beyond just being tough.
Absolutely. And you see that reflected in the Willie Bounce.
Okay.
A dance move created in his honor.
Wow.
Think about it. To have a dance move named after you, that's iconic.
That's legacy.
That's leaving your mark on the culture.
Talk about legacy.
Right.
Okay, so we have the tough guy image,
Yeah.
the hints of criminal activity, the dance hall fame.
Uh-huh.
But what about his personal life?
Right.
The Wikipedia article mentions that he married Angela Little Miss Moore in 93,
Okay.
and they had 2 children together.
Your children. Okay.
But then comes this unexpected detail.
Oh.
Haggart acknowledged having 18 children before his death.
18. Yeah.
And the article even hints that more may have come forward later.
Wow, that complicates the picture a bit, wouldn't you say?
18 children.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack.
That is
What does that tell us about the man?
right.
Was he devoted father to all of them?
Yeah.
Or was this more about image? A way to solidify his status within the community?
It raises questions about his role as a father, his relationships,
Yeah.
how he navigated family life within the context of his other activities.
Right.
It's a layer of complexity that you don't often see explored in these like brief biographical sketches.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that there's always more to the story than what's readily apparent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're starting to see the multifaceted nature of Willie Haggart. And that brings us to the dramatic end of his story.
Okay.
2001, shot by unknown assailants alongside 2 of his friends.
A tragic and unfortunately not uncommon ending for figures who navigate the criminal underworld.
Yeah.
But it's his funeral that adds another layer of intrigue to this whole narrative. Okay.
An estimated 5,000 people attended,
Wow.
including high-ranking government officials.
Whoa, hold on. Government officials at the funeral of a known gangster.
Yeah.
Now that's something you don't see every day.
Exactly. And this wasn't just any funeral.
Right.
It was a spectacle, a public display of mourning on a grand scale.
Wow.
It speaks to the complex relationship between politics, crime, and public perception in Jamaica,
Okay.
particularly within Kingston's inner-city communities.
Now I'm really starting to see why Willie Haggart's story has resonated for so long.
Yeah.
It's not just about dance hall or crime.
Right.
It's about navigating a system where the lines are often blurred,
Uh-huh.
where allegiances shift, and where power operates in nuanced ways.
It's a story that forces you to confront your own assumptions about good and bad, right and wrong. And that's the power of a figure like Willie Haggart.
Yeah.
He defies easy categorization.
It's like we're piecing together a puzzle where the image keeps changing as you add more pieces.
We have the tough guy, the criminal, the dance hall icon, the complex family man,
Yeah.
and now this almost mythical public figure whose funeral draws a massive crowd, including those in power.
And through it all, we're still relying on this readily available Wikipedia article.
Right.
It makes you wonder what other stories are hidden in plain sight,
Yeah.
waiting to be examined, unpacked, and understood.
That's a great point. We often underestimate the power of these accessible sources. It's
Yeah.
like we're just scratching the surface here,
Uh-huh.
and there's a whole world of depth waiting to be explored.
For sure.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Right.
let's dive into this Wikipedia article a bit further.
Okay.
See what other insights we can glean about Willie Haggart's impact and legacy.
Sounds good. You know, it's fascinating how Haggart's legacy is kind of woven into the fabric of dancehall music. The Wikipedia article mentions all these big names.
Right.
Junior Cat, Beanie Man, Elephant Man, Spraga Benz, even Buju Banton,
Wow.
who reference him in their songs.
That's not just a passing mention, is it?
No.
It speaks to a level of respect,
Right.
almost reverence within the dancehall community.
Yeah.
These artists are like keeping his memory alive through their music.
It's like a form of oral history, you know,
Hmm.
passing down stories and legends
Right.
through rhythm and rhyme.
And when you think about the global reach of dancehall,
Yeah.
it means Willie Haggart's name is echoing far beyond the streets of Kingston.
Absolutely.
And that makes those government officials at his funeral even more intriguing.
Right.
Were they there out of genuine respect?
Mhm.
Was it a political calculation?
Yeah.
Or maybe a recognition of the influence he held within the community?
It's a question that gets at the heart of power dynamics in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Was there a level of tolerance, even complicity, between those in authority and figures like Haggart?
Right.
Did his connection to the people, his status as a dance hall icon,
Right.
somehow bridge the gap between the underworld and the halls of government?
This Wikipedia article is really just a starting point, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's like a keyhole glimpse into a much larger story
Yeah.
about Jamaican society, the role of music and culture, the complexities of power and influence.
You start to see how someone like Willie Haggart could be both a product of his environment and a force shaping that environment.
Right.
He navigated the streets, the dance halls, the legal system,
Yeah.
and seemingly even had a certain level of acceptance from the political elite.
And then there's the family aspect.
Right.
18 acknowledged children.
18, yeah.
What was his role in their lives?
Yeah.
Was he a provider, a protector, a distant figure?
I'd be curious to hear their perspective.
Yeah.
Understand what it was like growing up with Willie Haggart as a father.
Right.
You know, we're getting glimpses of the public persona, the dance hall legend.
Right.
But what about the man behind the image?
That's what I find so captivating about these deep dives.
Yeah.
We're taking this readily available information,
Mm-hmm.
this Wikipedia article that anyone could access,
Right.
and using it as a springboard to explore deeper questions
Yeah.
about identity, family,
Yes.
community, and the very fabric of Jamaican society.
And what's remarkable is that we haven't even touched upon academic journals,
Right.
historical records, or in-depth biographies.
true.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
It makes you realize how much knowledge is out there waiting to be uncovered
Sure.
if you just know where to look and how to connect the dots.
Absolutely.
And sometimes those connections lead to more questions than answers,
Right.
which is part of the thrilled.
That's the beauty of learning, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process, a
Mhm.
constant exploration.
Right.
We're not just passively absorbing information,
Hmm.
we're actively engaging with it, questioning it,
Right.
challenging our own assumptions along the way.
So what would you say is like the biggest takeaway for our listeners?
Mm.
What's the one thing you hope they walk away with after this deep dive into Willie Haggart's life?
I think it's the importance of looking beyond the surface,
Hmm.
whether it's a Wikipedia article, a
Yeah.
news headline,
Right.
or even just a casual conversation.
Okay.
There's always more to uncover, more layers to explore,
Yeah.
and that's what makes life and learning so fascinating.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to shift gears a bit.
Okay.
We've been focused on the information presented in this Wikipedia article,
Right.
but I'm curious, what are some avenues for further exploration?
Hmm.
Where could our listeners go to delve even deeper into Willie Haggart's world?
Well, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
For starters, they could look into the sources cited in the Wikipedia article.
Okay.
Often those will lead to more detailed accounts, different perspectives,
Right.
maybe even firsthand testimony.
And what about resources beyond text?
Yeah.
Are there documentaries, interviews, or even fictionalized accounts that offer a different lens on Haggart's life and the dance hall scene?
Absolutely. There's a wealth of material out there,
Okay.
especially in the realm of music and film.
Hmm.
Documentaries like Rise Up offer a great overview of dance hall culture and its impact,
Mm.
while films like Third World Cop provide a fictionalized glimpse into the complexities of crime and policing in Jamaica.
And for those who are really feeling adventurous,
Yeah.
a trip to Jamaica itself could be an incredible learning experience.
Oh, for sure.
Imagine immersing yourself in the culture, talking to people who knew Haggart,
Right.
experiencing the energy of a live dance hall session.
That's taking the deep dive to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's no better way to understand a place and its people than to experience it firsthand.
Right.
Talk to locals, visit historical sites,
Yeah.
soak up the atmosphere.
It's about connecting with the human stories behind the headlines.
Right.
The rhythms behind the music, the heart and soul of a place.
Exactly. And I have a feeling that's what Willie Haggart was all about.
Mm.
Living life to the fullest,
Yeah.
embracing the complexities, and leaving a mark that would continue to resonate long after he was gone.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to encourage everyone listening to go out there and explore.
Yeah?
Don't just take our word for it.
Right.
Dig deeper, ask questions, and discover your own insights.
Uh-huh.
Who knows, maybe you'll uncover something that even this Wikipedia article missed.
And that's the beauty of it all, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's always more to learn, more to discover, and more to share.
You know, it's amazing how just a single Wikipedia article
Right.
can spark like such a wide-ranging conversation.
It really can.
We've gone from Willie Haggart, the name,
Uh-huh.
to like a nuanced exploration of Jamaican culture,
Yeah.
the dance hall scene,
Right.
and even like the complexities of power and influence.
Absolutely. And that's the power of a deep dive, right?
Yeah.
It's not about memorizing facts and figures.
Right.
It's about using readily available information as a launchpad for deeper understanding.
Yeah.
And in this case, we've seen how a life story,
Mm-hmm.
even one as seemingly straightforward as presented in like a Wikipedia entry,
Right.
can illuminate these broader societal issues.
Absolutely. We've talked about crime,
Yeah.
poverty, the allure of dance hall,
Right.
the blurred lines between the underworld and the political elite.
Yeah, these are themes that resonate far beyond Willie Haggart's individual story.
Yeah. It makes you wonder,
Right.
what other stories are waiting to be told?
Mm.
What other perspectives are out there?
Yeah.
There must be countless narratives,
Mhm.
just as fascinating, just as complex,
Right.
hidden within the archives,
Yeah.
the communities, the very heartbeat of Jamaica.
And those stories deserve to be heard.
Yeah.
They enrich our understanding of the world,
Mm.
challenge our assumptions,
Right.
and remind us of the shared humanity that connects us all.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the life of Willie Haggart,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with a challenge.
All right.
Don't let this be the end of the exploration.
Right.
Go out there, be curious. Seek out those untold stories.
Read books, watch documentaries,
Yeah.
listen to the music.
Talk to people.
Yeah.
Maybe even plan a trip to Jamaica someday.
That's a great idea.
Immerse yourself in the culture. Ask questions.
Yeah.
And discover those hidden gems of knowledge and insight.
Because the world is full of fascinating stories just waiting to be uncovered.
Right. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe one of you listening will be inspired to delve even deeper into Willie Haggart's life,
Hmm.
to write that definitive biography
Right.
to fill in those gaps
Yeah.
and share his story with the world.
Until then, let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah?
Share your thoughts, your insights,
Right.
your own deep dives into the topics that spark your curiosity.
It's all about sharing those deep dives.
Yeah, because learning is a journey best shared.
Well said. And with that, we'll sign off for today.
Okay.
But remember, this isn't goodbye.
Right.
It's just the beginning of a lifetime of exploration.
Keep diving deep.